Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video tutorial we're going to talk about sizing, about the size and some concepts of sizing in CSS. So 5 topics, the natural dimension of things, how to give specific dimension, percentages with margin and padding, min and max, and VH and VW, which I talked about the previous video, but I didn't give an example, but now I want to give an example. So um, contents, elements has natural dimensions. And we can see a normal example is an image. You can see that this image is absolutely huge, much more than the viewport. And as you can see, it remains the same. It's not that HTML does something about it and resize it when it comes inside HTML. It remains the same size. That in this case is we can see it here 3000 per multiplied by 3000 pixel. Consider that a screen is around 2000 anyway. Okay, and downstairs we have a box. I left a box that has no element has no content inside. And so by default, if it doesn't have a content, here we have our image and box. If it doesn't have a content, it doesn't have a height. So if I come here, here you can see the size of the image, and if you want to see the size of the box, you can see that it has a width. They gave it a width, but it doesn't have a height because it doesn't have a content inside. This is the default natural behavior of a div and of an image. Okay, so how can we give our elements specific dimension? Something that we already saw. We can just simply come here. We give it image height, just give it a height of 300 pixel, and here the box we give it a height, let's say 200 pixel. Now we have determined the size of our elements, and as expected they are resized accordingly. Now the image is 300 per 300, and our box has a 200 as a height. Okay, very simple. What about margin and padding? Why do I want to talk about it? Use percentages with margin and padding, because generally we give a margin and a padding, but what I personally don't do it often is to use percentages with it, but it's possible. So we can I comment out my image. Now we give a margin of 10% and a padding of 10%. You remember what I told the previous video? We said that percentages was working, that it was taking the parent element and the parent element as a reference. So it should be the 10%, the margin of our div, it should be the 10% of what? Of the body. Let's see the size of the body. The size of the body here we have 385 plus 785 and 366. A margin of 8. You can even look at HTML, but body should be the parent. Okay, the class box here, let's see the class box here. There is a margin and there is a margin. We defined a margin and a padding. Okay, margin and padding. If you look here at the values, you will see that all the margin and the paddings, they are all the same, and it's fine. Margin and padding has the same value, and they are both 78.50, which is strange because what I expected, looking at the body, we have a body that is 68, okay, but the body width, but the body height is 366. So what is the intuitive behavior should be that the width, the height was 36, but actually is not. It's not 36, but it's still 78. You can, from here, you can understand that the rule applied with margin and padding is that if you apply 10% to margin, it will apply the 10% of the parent element only the horizontal value. So the margin doesn't take into account that margin top and margin bottom, maybe they should have a different value. They give it the same value for all the four orientation. Okay, and this is it for margin and padding. Size, min and max. For this, before I nest, I need to nest the image. So I nested the image. I also did some changing. I removed the image width and height and the box height. And here is the result, first of all. You can see here we have our image inside the box. If we change the size of the screen, you can see that I said that the max width was 700. So now it's changing the size till something 200, and then it remains 200 because the mean width is 200. So this is a way to make the code more responsive, responsive as you want. We had the mean width 200 pixel, max width 700 pixel, width 100%. If of course I remove these two, which were our breakpoints, I don't know, and you come here, now the picture follows the size of the page, and it changes completely on the side of the page. If you want, maybe you need to add some breakpoints for always for the responsive feature issue, and you can do it with the min width and max width. Okay. The viewport VH and VW. VH and VW stands for viewport width and viewport height, first of all. Second, I want to create okay, so I cut it so I don't waste time. There is this div class 2 with some letters inside. We have viewport width of 20, which stands for 20%. I already said it in the previous video. 20 viewport height, 20% of the viewport height. Of the height of the viewport, and a font size of 15 viewport height. Let's launch and see. You can see we have this this thing. If you change it, it's clearly responsive. It changes the viewport height. Okay, and about the letters that you see, we have given it 15 viewport height. We didn't define any viewport width. If we go on another screen and we change it, you can see that the letters are changing accordingly as I wanted. Okay. Uh, one thing I want to say that I freaked out in my life. If you do it like this, it doesn't work. Okay. So as you see, it's not working anymore. Remember it, because it's an easy mistake. They need to be at least on Visual Studio Code. Maybe in our studio, in other IDE is different. And of course, if you come here and you write 40 pixels, um, okay, 40 pixels is like this. I don't know. Maybe it didn't take it. As you see, the letters are not changing. The page is not responsive anymore. Okay, so this is it for this lesson. We have seen a few things about sizing. I hope you enjoyed. You followed along. See you in the next video. Thank you very much, and bye bye.